Okay, so ditching the 9 to 5 and becoming your own boss. Right. Seems like everyone's talking about online businesses these days.
It really does.
We've got a deep dive request here based on the How to Start an Online Business Step-by-Step podcast. And wow, there is so much there.
It's packed with information.
It really is. It is jam-packed with some inspiring stories and practical tips.
Yeah.
Should we jump in?
Let's dive in.
Okay.
I think what I found really interesting is how the podcast, it kind of goes beyond that typical like easy money hype that you hear so much about.
Right.
And it really dives into some real advantages, things that resonate with today's entrepreneurs.
Like what?
Things like flexibility, low startup costs, which are incredibly appealing.
Yeah.
But I think what really struck me was the emphasis on like reclaiming control over your time and your life.
I felt that too. It's one thing to dream about working from anywhere, but they actually interviewed someone who runs their business from Bali.
Right.
That's the dream. But were there any specifics on how much starting an online business actually costs? I mean, compared to, say, opening a traditional brick and mortar store?
Yeah, they gave a really good example, contrasting like a traditional boutique with an online clothing store.
Okay.
So think about it. The boutique, you need a physical storefront, you've got inventory, you need staff.
Yeah.
Easily tens of thousands of dollars to get started. Online store. A website, some good product photos, and maybe a couple $100 in marketing. Much smaller risk.
Oh, absolutely. Like that is a huge difference, especially when you're first starting out. But one thing that always kind of trips me up is this idea of scalability. They mentioned it in the podcast, but I need a little bit more than that. How does it actually work in the context of an online business?
Yeah, so they gave a great example of this too. Do you remember, Sarah?
Yeah.
The graphic designer.
From the podcast, yeah.
She used to do one-on-one freelance work, so trading time for money, which is very limiting. But then she had this light bulb moment. She took her design skills, created a series of social media templates, and started selling them online. Now she can sell those templates thousands of times without having to design each one from scratch. That's the power of scalability.
That is incredible. It's like her knowledge is working for her even while she sleeps. It's generating this like passive income.
Exactly.
That's a game changer. The podcast also talked about having multiple revenue streams.
Yes.
Why is that so important, especially in the online world?
Well, it's all about creating that safety net, right? Diversifying that income. Imagine your online business is like a tree.
Okay.
You could have one branch dedicated to, let's say, digital products like Sarah.
Okay.
Another branch could be focused on affiliate marketing, where you're earning commissions by recommending other companies' products.
Oh, interesting.
And then maybe even a branch for advertising revenue if your website gets a lot of traffic.
Oh, I see.
So you're not relying on just one stream.
You're creating like a network
Exactly.
that's supporting your business.
Exactly. Precisely.
That makes a lot of sense, especially, with everything that's going on in the world, like all the uncertainty. It's not all sunshine and rainbows though, right?
Of course not.
I'm sure there are challenges too.
Right. The podcast wouldn't be complete without addressing those potential downsides.
Yeah.
One thing they emphasized was the need for self-discipline and motivation when you're your own boss.
Yeah.
It's easy to get distracted or lose focus when you don't have that traditional work structure.
Oh my gosh, I can only imagine. Like I would be the queen of procrastination.
Right.
If I didn't have deadlines.
Exactly.
Speaking of challenges, they also touched on the ever-changing digital landscape, right?
Absolutely. It's a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah.
Technology enables all these amazing opportunities.
Right.
But it also means you need to be adaptable and you constantly have to be learning.
Yeah.
What works today might be obsolete tomorrow.
Oh, for sure.
So staying curious and informed is absolutely crucial for staying ahead.
It's like the learning never stops.
Never stops.
In the online business world.
It's a constant journey of exploration and growth.
I like that. It's a journey. It's not a destination.
Exactly.
Okay, so they talked about these amazing opportunities, the flexibility. They gave us some warnings.
Right.
They gave us some things to look out for, but did they actually talk to anybody? Did they have any success stories in this podcast?
They did. They shared some really inspiring success stories that demonstrate how achievable it can be with the right mindset and strategies.
Okay, like who? Give me.
One that really resonated with me was this fitness coach.
Okay.
Who transitioned their business entirely online.
Oh, yeah. They transformed their in-person coaching business into a thriving online community, like with hundreds of paying members.
Right.
That's right. They went from one-on-one sessions in a gym to reaching a global audience all through the power of the internet. It's kind of mind-blowing. What, like, specific tools or platforms did they use to make that happen? I'm dying to know the inside scoop here.
Well, they actually broke it down, which I thought was really helpful. So first of all, they ditched the expensive gym rental and moved their expertise to a paid membership platform.
Okay.
So think like a website where members pay a monthly fee to access workout videos, nutrition plans, and then like this supportive online community.
Okay, that makes sense. Like creating a dedicated space for their content and their community.
Right.
But how do they attract those initial members? It's like the chicken and egg dilemma, isn't it?
Totally. They were actually early adopters of video marketing, which is interesting.
Okay.
They started creating like these engaging workout snippets, nutrition tips, and sharing them for free.
Where? Like where were they sharing?
On platforms like YouTube, social media.
So it's like giving away those valuable little snippets?
Exactly.
To establish that expertise.
It's like giving people a taste of what they could get by joining like the full program.
Very cool. Very cool. So they use those free videos to drive traffic to the website.
Exactly. To entice viewers to sign up for that paid membership platform.
Okay, so it's not just about creating the website. It's like building this whole ecosystem.
Right.
To nurture your audience.
Yes, exactly. They really stress the importance of creating valuable content consistently.
Yeah.
They said it's like tending a garden.
Ooh, I like that analogy.
You need to water it, you need to nurture it and cultivate it to see those fruits of your labor.
And what about the graphic designer? What was her strategy for selling those digital products?
Well, she was really smart about it. She tapped into the power of online marketplaces.
Okay, like what? What are we talking about?
Websites like Etsy, Creative Market, which are specifically designed for selling digital products.
Okay, so she doesn't have to worry about building a website from scratch, driving traffic to it. She's going where the people already are.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Was there any mention of pricing? Because that always seems tricky.
Oh, it is. It's so key.
Yeah.
They talked about finding that balance between making it affordable for customers, but also making sure it's profitable for you.
Right.
They did things like researching competitors' pricing. They considered their time, their expertise.
Yeah.
And then they actually tested different price points to see what resonated best with their audience.
So it's a little bit of experimentation, analyzing the data and finding that sweet spot.
Exactly.
I like it. Okay, now, did this podcast offer any specific tools or resources?
They did.
For tasks like website building or email marketing?
Yeah.
Because I need those resources.
I know, right? Who doesn't?
Yeah.
So for website building, they recommended user-friendly platforms like Squarespace.
I've heard of that.
Wix, especially for beginners. They highlighted how these platforms offer that, drag and drop functionality, pre-designed templates.
Yeah, they're supposed to be really easy.
Making it easy to create a professional-looking website without needing any coding skills.
Okay, good, because I have zero coding skills.
Me neither.
Okay, good. I'm glad I'm not alone. What about email marketing? Any recommendations there?
They seem to be big fans of MailChimp and ConvertKit.
Okay. Yeah.
Both of which offer free plans for beginners, which is always nice.
Yeah, gotta love that.
And a range of features to grow your email list and automate your campaigns.
So there are tools out there.
At every level.
From starting out completely free to more advanced paid options.
Exactly.
As your business grows. This is all incredibly helpful stuff. Right. I'm feeling very inspired already.
Good.
But I'm also mindful of those challenges that we talked about earlier. Like, did they offer any advice on staying motivated and disciplined when you're literally working for yourself?
It's so tough.
It is really tough.
They emphasize the importance of setting realistic goals, breaking down large tasks into smaller, more manageable steps.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then they also recommended, even if it's just a corner of your home, create a dedicated workspace.
Oh, create those boundaries.
Yes, to help separate that work life from personal life.
Yes.
And minimize those distractions.
Oh, that's so smart. I need to do that. Okay, so creating those boundaries is key, especially when you're working remotely. What about staying up to date with that constantly evolving digital landscape?
Oh my gosh, it changes every 5 minutes, it feels like.
I know. It's like every day there's something new to learn.
Right. It's overwhelming.
It is.
They said it's crucial to make continuous learning just part of your routine.
Okay.
So subscribing to industry blogs, listening to relevant podcasts.
Oh, like this one.
Exactly. Yeah. Engaging in online communities to stay informed about the latest trends and technologies.
So it really is. It's like they're saying, never stop learning.
It never stops.
It never stops in the online business world.
especially in this world.
Yeah, yeah. But how do you know what to focus on?
Right.
Because there's so much out there, it's easy to get overwhelmed.
It really is. They emphasize being strategic.
Okay.
Focusing on the areas that are most relevant to your business goals.
Okay.
Attending webinars, taking online courses.
So be intentional about it.
Yes. Seeking out mentors, coaches.
Okay, so it's like having a guide in this vast wilderness
Exactly.
of the online business world.
The wilderness. I love that. Yes.
Okay, so they're telling us to find mentors, stay on top of our education, but they also stressed building a strong online presence, right?
They did. It's like your virtual storefront.
Yeah.
It's showcasing your brand to the world.
Did they offer any advice on how to stand out?
Hmm?
Because it's a crowded space.
It's so crowded. It really is about identifying your target audience
Okay.
and creating content that resonates deeply with their needs, their
Okay.
interests. You're not trying to appeal to everyone.
Okay.
It's about attracting the right people.
Finding your niche.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
I like that. Okay, so we find our niche, we figure out what our brand is all about, but what about social media? Because that can be a full-time job.
It really can. They actually recommended social media scheduling tools
Okay, like what?
like Buffer and Hootsuite, which allow you to plan and schedule your posts in advance.
Oh, that's so smart.
So it frees up your time.
Yeah, to actually do the other things.
To engage with your audience, create more content.
That's like having a virtual assistant
Right.
for your social media.
Exactly.
I love it. So it's not about just posting randomly. It's about having a strategy.
Right. Track your results, constantly refine your approach.
It's about being adaptable and experimenting.
Exactly. Precisely. They emphasize that building a successful online business, it's an ongoing journey.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
I like that. It's about embracing the process, learning from your experiences, adapting.
Never being afraid to experiment, try new things, step outside that comfort zone.
Because that's where the growth happens.
That's where the magic happens, right?
It does. It does. Okay, so they talked about, getting over the fear, but what about mindset?
Yeah.
Because mindset is everything.
Oh, it is. They said that building a successful online business requires a certain level of resilience, especially when you're faced with challenges.
Yeah, because it's not always going to be easy. There's going to be ups and downs.
Of course, it's not a straight line to success, right?
Ever.
They emphasize developing a growth mindset,
Okay, yeah.
embracing failures as learning opportunities.
Yeah, those are so important.
And then surrounding yourself with a supportive community.
Yes, because when you're feeling stuck or discouraged, having that network,
It makes all the difference.
it really, really does.
They recommended joining online communities, attending industry events,
Okay.
and even seeking out those mentors again,
It's about building your own personal board of advisors,
Exactly.
people who have been there, done that,
Yes, exactly.
and can offer those valuable insights.
And they've made the mistake so you don't have to, hopefully.
Right, exactly. So they talked about community, they talked about mentors. Did they touch upon the customer at all? What about customer service? Because I feel like that can make or break you.
Absolutely. They emphasize that providing exceptional customer service, it's essential for building a loyal customer base.
Yeah.
Establishing that positive brand reputation.
Especially in the online world, where word of mouth is everything.
It spreads like wildfire, doesn't it?
It does, good or bad.
Exactly. So, responding to inquiries promptly and professionally,
Right.
going above and beyond.
So it's not just about making the sale.
No, it's about nurturing those relationships.
I like that.
Creating a positive, memorable experience.
So those happy customers become like your brand ambassadors.
Exactly. And their positive reviews and testimonials, so valuable for attracting new customers.
Word of mouth, it's the best marketing.
Best marketing is free.
Exactly. Free marketing, the best kind. Okay, so they talked about customer service. Did they offer any of the kind of like golden nuggets of advice?
Yeah. They really highlighted the importance of building an email list,
Okay, yeah, I've heard that before.
which allows you to communicate directly with your audience.
Because you own that, right?
You own it,
Unlike social media.
where the algorithm can change in a heartbeat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do you build an email list? What was their advice?
Offering something valuable in exchange for email signups.
Okay, so give them a reason
A little freebie.
to join your community.
Exactly. A free ebook, a
Mhm.
discount code, exclusive content, something like that.
Okay, so provide some value, give them a reason to want to stay connected.
Exactly.
Got it. And once you have that email list, then what?
Well, that brings us to marketing.
Okay, right, because you could have the best product in the world, But if no one knows about it,
Right, it's not going to sell.
it's not going to sell.
Yeah.
Okay, so what kind of marketing advice did they have?
They discussed a variety of marketing channels, including, social media marketing, which we touched on,
Okay.
content marketing, email marketing, paid advertising.
So it's about finding the right mix that aligns with your audience.
And your budget.
Right, because not everybody has a huge marketing budget when they're first starting out.
Exactly, especially when you're first starting out.
And then once you find that mix, you got to track those results.
Track.
See what's working, what's not working.
Adjust as needed.
Okay, so it's all about being adaptable, experimenting, and constantly refining.
They really emphasize that,
Okay.
which I thought was smart.
Because what worked yesterday may not work tomorrow.
Exactly.
And they encourage the listeners to embrace continuous learning, attend industry events.
Network, connect with other marketing professionals.
So really it's about being a lifelong learner,
A lifelong learner, yes.
embracing innovation.
And never being complacent, never getting comfortable.
Because if you get comfortable, you get left behind.
You're done. You're toast. 100%.
That's right. Got to stay on top of it. So we talked about marketing. Anything else?
Analytics.
Oh, right. Because if you're not measuring,
You're flying blind.
you're just shooting in the dark.
100%. You have to know your numbers.
So what tools did they recommend?
Google Analytics is a big one.
Okay. Yeah.
To track your website traffic, those conversion rates, customer behavior,
Oh, that's so helpful. So you can see where people are coming from, what they're doing on your website.
what resonates with them, what's not resonating.
It's all about being data-driven
Exactly.
and using those insights to make those important decisions
Precisely.
about your marketing, your products, your overall strategy.
It all comes back to the data, doesn't it?
It really does. Data is king
Data is king
or queen.
or queen.
Okay, so we've got all this incredible advice.
Lots of golden nuggets.
But if we had to choose like one key takeaway, one thing for our listener to remember, what would it be?
If I had to distill it down to one essential point,
Yeah.
it would be this. Building a successful online business, it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes effort. It takes dedication.
It's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Absolutely not.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
They encouraged listeners to stay focused on their goals, embrace the journey, never give up.
Because with the right mindset, strategies, and support, anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
So they talk about all this positive stuff, but it can't be all sunshine and roses, right? What are some of the maybe downsides, some of the challenges that they didn't talk about?
That's such a good point. They really focused on that positive, uplifting message, which is great, but you have to be prepared for the challenges too. And one that comes to mind is the potential for isolation.
That's a really good point because you're working from home, you're building something on your own. It's easy to kind of get lost in that.
Yeah, you're in your bubble.
Yeah, exactly.
And they did mention community, but how can someone combat that? Especially, in those early stages where you're just getting started, you're putting in the work,
Right.
you're not necessarily seeing the results yet.
Yeah, it's tough.
It is tough. They did suggest a few things. Joining online communities, forums, things like that are related to your niche.
Okay.
It's a great way to connect with other people who get it.
Yeah, who speak your language.
Exactly, who understand the unique challenges.
Yeah, so find your tribe, even if it's online.
Even if it's virtual. Exactly. Attending industry events, conferences, even if it's just 1 or 2 a year.
Yeah, get out there.
Get out there in the real world, network, connect, get inspired.
Those can be game changers sometimes, those events, I've heard.
They can be game changers because you're around that energy.
Right, and sometimes that's all it takes.
Absolutely. And then, of course, mentors, coaches.
Yes, find that person who can be your guide.
Who can help you navigate.
Do they have any advice on how to find that person?
Yeah, they said reach out to people you admire in your industry or look at joining those online mentorship platforms.
Oh yeah, those are great. They can kind of match you up.
Yeah, they can match you up with someone who aligns with your goals and your values.
I love it. So we talked about isolation.
Yeah.
But what about the financial aspect? Because they did mention low startup costs, but is there a catch?
Well, they did emphasize that while online businesses generally have lower overhead than traditional businesses, there are still costs involved.
Okay, so don't go into it thinking it's going to be free.
Right. Create a realistic budget.
Yeah. What are some of those costs that people might not think about?
Website hosting, marketing,
Marketing.
cost for subscriptions.
Right, because all those things add up.
They add up, especially if you're using multiple tools, which, let's be honest, who isn't?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But do they give any tips for managing the money side of things?
Separate those finances.
Oh, personal versus business.
Yes. 1,000 times yet.
Okay, good. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Because it's so easy to blur those lines, especially when you're working from home.
Especially when you're first starting out, you think, oh, it's just one little thing.
Exactly, but get that separate bank account. Get some accounting software, It'll save you a lot of headaches down the road.
Okay, so we've got our finances in order. What else do we need to be prepared for?
One thing they really emphasized was managing expectations.
Okay, yeah, because it's easy to get caught up.
It's so easy to see those headlines, make 6 figures in 6 months working from your couch.
Right, exactly. But that's not the reality for most people.
Exactly. It takes time.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. Celebrate those small wins along the way.
Okay, love that.
Stay focused on those goals.
So for our listeners out there, what's the one thing we want them to remember as they're starting their business?
If I had to boil it all down to one thing, knowledge is power.
Love it.
The more you learn about online business,
Yeah,
the more prepared you'll be
exactly.
to face those challenges.
And this deep dive has given them a great foundation.
Absolutely. And we're here to support you, so if you have questions, reach out.
We're excited to see where this journey takes you. Until next time.
Happy exploring.